Hey guys, I just realized it's a little after 3 and I haven't even done my daily live stream. Fortunately, the Postal Service just delivered a package and it looks like it's from Alabama, Decatur, Alabama. So that's got to be Rick Talley with BamAquatics. And some of you might have noticed the other day in his live stream that he talked about having guppy fry packs available, and I jumped on some greens. I don't remember exactly what type of green, the name of them, but um, this is the result of that. Good, good. I've just broken the seal and starting to open it up, and it feels warm in here, so I'm encouraged by that. It's awful cold outside and windy, so I wanted to go ahead and get them in off the porch, and I'm going to go ahead and get them um, it's telling me to rotate the phone, so I definitely see some movement in there. I don't see anybody on the bottom. So what I'm going to do, if I can, is go ahead and open the bag and put them in my handy little specimen container and float them in that on the inside of the tank that they're going in. So I'm just going to set that right there for a moment. I think what I'm feeling in here is a heat pack. It is, and it's nice and warm, nice and toasty. There's lots of padding in here, so the fish stayed warm. Hey Jeff, just doing an unboxing here of some guppy fry from BamAquatics, so as the title says. So it's really nice and warm over where the pack was. Not as warm on this side where the fish were. Obviously they're in good condition. So I'm going to go ahead and try to get this open. Get them out so that we can take a look at them. And we shall go from there. There's a little bit of water. Rick had wanted me to let him know how this packing and shipping went, and there's a little bit of water in this outside bag, but I'm not sure that it leaked from this bag because this bag is tight and doesn't appear to have leaked any at all, so it may have just been condensation. I'm not sure, but the fish appear to be in excellent condition, and I'm going to go ahead and get this other bag opened up so that we can get them in the little viewing container and actually see what they look like. Sorry. I'm going to lay this camera down just a second, otherwise I'm going to have guppy fry in the floor. Just 1 second. Okay, and as always, we go back and double check our bag to make sure there's nothing in there. No. Some water drops and a little bit of packing material on the outside there. So let's see if we can see a little bit better here what we have. I don't know if this phone's going to focus. There we go. So it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, 8 or 9 American greens. Yeah, that was so hard to remember, wasn't it? Just wait, you'll be able to someday. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of reflection here, but all the fish are alive. They're swimming around. They're active. I'm going to go ahead and There you are, Kendall. I was trying to slip this in while you were still sleeping, but I see you're too slick for me. So hang on, I've got to open my dog gate here. Sorry, I need 3 hands and don't have them. And sorry about that whiplash. Let's get these guys. What I'm going to do is probably put them in a, just getting them in here where I can, they're not going to be in this tank, obviously. I'm just getting them in here where I can get a little warmer water around them and begin to acclimate. There we go. Starting to see them a little bit. And these guys, it's a couple hours away from feeding time, so these guys are all about what's going on there and what's in there and that kind of thing. So, but they look great. A couple of them already have some color on their tails. Several of them do, Rick. About half of them. So at this age, does that mean those are going to be males, or do the females have the green tails as well? I'm trying to remember. I just remember that I really like this guppy. And where did you get them from? Who did you get them from? What's their history? Yeah, those vampire swordtails would really like to meet them, huh? What I'm going to do is put them in a 10-gallon quarantine tank for a couple of days. And just from the stress, I'm not going to make them stay in there a couple of weeks, but just from the stress. Hey Matthew, just did a little unboxing here of some American green guppies from BamAquatics, and just letting them warm up a little bit. They came in very well insulated, and so that's where you got them. I haven't heard of that, or heard of him, so I have to check him out. These guys should grow out really fast. I'll get them started on some. They're a little bit big for first bites. Hey Dee. But I'll get them started on some Daphnia and some spirulina. Can't talk. Oh, okay. So, well, at least half of them have green on their tails already, so it's probably about half male and half female then, if we're going off that. But they're all very active and swimming around, and they did great. I was going to go to the aquarium in Knoxville today, but I was afraid they would come about this time of day and they'd end up sitting out there in the cold 2 or 3 hours. Even with the heat pack, I was just afraid for them to sit out on the porch that long. So I'm going to the aquarium tomorrow instead of today. Yeah, they are nice, and I don't know if you've seen on any of Rick's tours. Yeah, you want to go, Trinity? Let me know if you want to go tomorrow. I'm looking for kind of oddball fish and maybe something I've never kept before, and just kind of looking around, experimenting. I don't have anything special in mind, not even going in search of plecos, just to look to see what's unusual that I might be able to make work in one of my aquariums. And all right, well, let's chat about it later. I think they're closed on Mondays up there and opened on Sundays, so. But yeah, these came in great, Rick, and you asked me to critique your packing because I have so much experience. I've actually done one shipping myself, and of course that had to be somebody that does it all the time. It was to Jeremy with Sergeant Tank. I sent him up a female barb to make him a reverse trio with a couple of barbs he wanted to breed out, and they're the filamentasis barbs, and it made it there okay, but after I shipped it, I thought of some things I would have done differently, and he shipped me back a couple of the fry. And his shipping job is much better, of course. But yeah, I don't see anything. I have received a lot of fish and packaged, and I don't see anything that I would suggest or that I would have done differently or better. The only thing I showed you is that little bit of water in that outer bag, and that might have been just condensation because the inner bag that they were in was tight, so I'm not sure where that was from, but they came in fine. They're great. So, and I'm very happy with them. And I will be getting, they do look great, don't they, Pam? I've got lots of little swordtails, little tiny swordtails like this, and little tiny platies from the tub, and they're continuing to have the fry that were born in the tub this summer, so I've got lots of babies now. Their quarantine tank, these guys, is going to be right beside some of those, so. These guppies, that's actually a guppy from Michael's fish room, and it's a guppy that won a contest that he was in recently. Some of his guppies won first and second place, and I believe this was the first place winner, and I also have one of the second place winners. These guys here, get the gonopodium on that guppy. I bought several of them, came from a local fish store here, and I just thought they were so unusual, that's why I got them. And Rick, I have some of my Limias in here, and they do great with the guppies. There's a male. They do great with the guppies, and in fact, they almost seem to like it better than just having, an all breed specific tank. I mean, in the wild, they're going to see all kinds of other fish and be around other fish, so they really seem to be more natural and act more natural with other fish in here. This particular group gets along great, and I've had no issues with them. So there's some creamsicle lyre-tail mollies. I've never kept those before, so. Hey, Dan's. Just doing a quick unboxing. Got some American green guppies from BamAquatics, also known as Rick Talley, and I want to go ahead and get those open and floating a little bit. They came in warm and packaged well, but the weather's really cold and windy here, so unusual for us. So just floating them in here for a little bit before I put them over in a quarantine tank to warm them up. But they're really neat little fry. Already have color on their tails. Anyway, Rick, I was going to say, can you put your camera on landscape view? I did have it, Dan, and it made me go back to portrait. I'll try it again. Nope, it says the orientation is locked. Rotate device back. Yep. I'm not sure why it did that to me at the start, but it won't let me. I did have it on landscape originally. But Rick, I'll be sending you a package out hopefully Monday. I don't know any reason that I couldn't get it out then. So I'll let you know when that is sent out. Okay, I'm gonna let those guys kind of relax there, and I've been bending over. Oh, wait. Dan, you know he came back and did, yes, and yes. He came back and told me that Eric Bodrock and Gary Lane both advised him that they didn't ship rainbows that big and that they had never heard of it being done and they wouldn't do it. And so, of course, he took that advice, and if I had insisted, he would have shipped them, but I said, no, my concern is for, the safety of the fish. So he countered with me and said, I have some juveniles that instead of 60, they're 40, and I could send you 10 of those, and that would be, the same, about $400. So I said yes. I should have asked a little more at that time about how big are the juveniles, but because he does show some juveniles that are colored up and about half grown. Anyway, the guys came in. They're small. They're really small, like the size of guppies, and maybe one is as big as a zebra danio. But I did do an unboxing of them, but it's locked in the stupid app that I got that pauses thing, and I can't get it out of there. And I did do a little video of them the other day, just a day or two ago, while I was doing a live stream in here. And they're doing great. He sent 11 instead of 10. Of course, they started eating right away, and they're growing quickly, and a couple of them are starting to get color. So I've had them over a week. He actually contacted me last night, Lucas did, and said that he was going to be in Tennessee. He grew up in Clarksville, or a part of his life he did, Clarksville, Tennessee, which is about 4 hours from me. I'm down past Chattanooga in the southeast corner of the state, and Clarksville's right on the Kentucky-Georgia border up above Nashville. But that he was going to be there over the weekend, and that he was going to be driving, I guess, and that he could take the original fish there if I still wanted them. So I asked if he wanted me to swap back with them or what he wanted, and he said that he would swap back, or that I could buy the other fish. And I began to think about the cost of it, and that I have 11 of them that in a few months will be like those other fish. And so we talked about that back and forth a little bit, and actually he mentioned that we were messaging while he was doing his live stream last night. And so finally we came down to that I would get 3 of them. He would reduce the price since it had been, quote, a circus, unquote, and that I would get a trio of them. However, I just did not want to drive 4 hours by myself and turn around and come back 4 hours. I could do it, and I've done things like that, of course, when I was younger, but it's really hard for me to drive that long, having had a hip surgery in the spring. And so I asked him to meet me like in Nashville, and he said that he wouldn't be able to do that. But so he still has them, and I'm happy, have been happy with what I got. So a long story to answer your question. So I do have them, not those, but I have I guess F1s or F2s off of those that he has. They're from those. So, and actually they are in that tank right down there. Yeah, it's probably one of the rainbow ones, one of the last couple of rainbows ones that I did. Yeah, you got it, it is. And so have my live streams been recently. But they're actually down in that tank, and like I said, they're great eaters, they're great swimmers, and that's where I was originally going to put the bigger ones. And you can see a couple of them swimming up in the right-hand corner there. They love to play with the Siamese algae eaters, which are twice their size. Yeah, see, there's one of them up in the right-hand corner there swimming around. A couple of them playing there. So yeah, they're little fish. There they go. But yeah, all's well. There comes a couple of them into view from the left, so you can see how small they are. But they're doing great. They're from great stock, and I'm enjoying them. I'm thrilled to have them, and especially to have got them at a better price. And they're younger fish, so it worked out fine. So, all right, guys. I'm glad the fish came in, Rick, and I'm glad that everything went well with that. And I'm going to go ahead and get them over there in their QT tank for just a couple of days, just because of the stress, and make sure nothing devils up in the next couple of days. I got to jump in the shower, and as always, it seems like I'm going to volunteer, but all I'm doing is walking dogs this afternoon and feeding them, so that won't take too long. And then I'll be back to play with fish all evening. So thank you guys for checking in and listening to me ramble and look at fish. And if you like the video, give it a like. What else are we supposed to say? If you haven't subscribed, please help me get to 200. I'm at 170 something now. So I'm almost there, and I hope you come back. Appreciate you being here. Now to figure out how to turn it off in this orientation. There we go. See you guys. You too, Pam. Thanks. Hi. Thank you, Dan.